Tonight's true spooky story is about a girl who fell asleep for 6 hours, had postpartum depression, and lived a life for 3 full years. Tonight's submitter's name is VB, and she did say I could use her real name and that I could tag her, so she will be tagged in the description. So when VB was 1 week and 4 days postpartum, she had just gotten all of her kids to sleep and she jumped in bed and completely zonked out. She remembers her baby woke up twice that night, but she doesn't remember anything from those feedings. It was like she was in a hazy black fog. She knows that this seems normal, but being that this was her 4th son and her other kids were 5, 4, and 3, she was actually really good at waking up multiple times a night for nightmares, potty trips. So an extra kid to wake up was an easy peasy thing for her by her 4th kid. It seemed so strange to her that she couldn't bring herself to focus that night. She assumed that her husband did the 4 a.m. feeding because she doesn't remember waking up after the 1 a.m. feeding. She didn't wake up until 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was not her baby that woke her up. There was a light effect when the dream started. Imagine a dream opening up like a water slide. A water slide that had its own lights. They whizzed past and turned slightly to show. When she opened her eyes, she was at college in California and she walked directly into somebody. Or really more like she was hurled through space into them. After apologizing to him, she actually recognized him from a YouTube channel she had seen maybe once or twice but wasn't like a fan of. They started talking more and more and they started putting pieces together that they had been around each other for most of their lives, just not directly in contact. Like they had been to the same concert together but were 3 rows apart. Same movie premiere, but he showed up before her. They went to the same vacation hotspots. They talked about how these places had changed and talked about other things. She remembers the house that they moved into together, his roommates, how large the house was, the entire layout. She remembers their first 2 years of dating and all the dates. She graduated with a criminal justice degree and started working as a paralegal, which was not in line with her interests in the real world at all. So this was very odd. He proposed to her in one of their most loved date night spots. She remembers all the plans for their wedding, including arguments that she got into with his mother over color and decor. She remembers their actual wedding and their honeymoon, etc. He brought her on his YouTube excursions and actually started making her a full part of his channel. She remembers making all these videos with him for the YouTube channel and then them discussing how they did afterwards in the videos. Shortly after they returned from their honeymoon, she found out she was pregnant. She surprised him with a pregnancy test and a daddy gift bag and hijacked his YouTube channel to film all of it. He was really attentive the entire pregnancy and demanded to come to every appointment. He geeked out like a giddy school kid when hearing the baby's heartbeat. Her baby shower was one of the most sweetest memories that she has. His friends, who had become her friends and their girlfriends, threw them a huge gender reveal party. It was decorated in pink and they blindfolded them. She cracked a Magnolia joke about how the backyard looked like it was hosed in Pepto-Bismol, which prompted her and her husband to start a pink glitter bomb fight. The last memory she has before going into labor was about getting into a sweet play fight about her coming home outfit. When she went into labor, this is when she started noticing the odd things though. She went into labor around 2 a.m. He got her into the car, but she went into labor for a very long time and refused pain management because somehow she knew that she could handle the pain, which would be because of this life, because she had 3 or 4 babies while also denying pain management. He was given the opportunity to catch the baby himself, which he did with a big goofy smile on his face. He was the best coach. He did everything to make her laugh and ignore the pain, and then he placed her baby on her chest. Or should I say her daughter on her chest. And what was weird about that is after all the dreams she has had about having a daughter, this was the only one where she was actually able to touch her. All the other dreams she had woken up before she was able to touch her. They named her Estrella Grace, which was also completely different from a name that she had chosen for a daughter if she had one in this life also. While she was holding her, there had been reports of a baby girl missing, a baby missing in the hospital. But she was told that she was one of 2 moms on the floor and that the other mom had a boy. The lights in the delivery room started flickering a lot and her husband started repeating the same question over and over. Do you like her name? He kept asking, as if they both hadn't picked it out. She was feeling really drained and tired 2 days later after they discharged them. They had kept her from going home because she kept complaining of feeling sick, and the nurse wanted to make sure that she was okay. But no signs of why, and then they sent them home. Her husband was driving so slow the whole entire way. They joked that they were going to get pulled over for holding up traffic. When they got home, they didn't know that their friends had thrown them a coming home party. They brought them food, supplies, and all of that as a surprise. They opened the door and they quietly whispered in unison, "Surprise," so they wouldn't wake Estrella. But then everything stopped moving, like a movie on pause. And then this voice in her head whispered, "This is not yours." Something unseen threw her backwards so hard she landed on the steps on her back. There was this distinct cracking sound like her head had hit the pavement. She opened her eyes, but this time she was back in her actual room. What was strange to her is she had a horrible headache and a bump started to appear where she hit the ground. She didn't recognize her room at all, and her first instinct was to call for her husband who she had just left. And her second instinct was to call for her baby. She sat up in bed and noticed the baby bassinet beside her, and she was relieved until she noticed that this baby was wrapped up in blue. Estrella didn't own one blue thing, so she knew this was a boy. She left him sleeping and walked out into the hallway. She saw her older kids sleeping in their beds, and she had to take a moment to remember their names. The most heartbreaking thing of it all, though, was having to mourn her baby while she had just had a baby, and dealing with the strange feelings that her babies had been swapped. She caught herself saying, maybe if I take good care of this boy, my other me will give me my daughter back. She did go to therapy with that. She'd also been hit really hard with postpartum depression. So in medical terms, saying that she had postpartum psychosis wasn't that far-fetched. The other thing is, she has a terrible memory, especially over the years with her mental health, and she's had a few brain injuries. But she still remembers every single detail of that. So what do you guys think about that story? Do you think it was paranormal? Or do you think that she had postpartum depression psychosis? I guess either one could be true. Both could be true, you know? That's, to me, is really sad because she's going through so much because having to mourn one baby while taking care of another baby and then probably feeling the guilt of wanting the other baby when she has her son, you know? I can't imagine going through that. That must have been really hard for you, and I'm really sorry. That is, especially going through a life for 3 years and coming back from that. I'm glad that you got therapy. I get a lot of these stories recently because the first one that I told, which by the way, I do have to tell you guys something about that at the end of the story. And I don't think anyone has gone to therapy except for you, or has told me that they have gone to therapy except for you. So good for you for doing that, because that is definitely something that requires therapy. I wonder, did you have to mourn the loss of your husband? Was that hard for you to have to deal with loving your husband in this life, but then mourning the loss of your other husband? Or was it more so just the loss of your baby? Did you eventually come to and realize that that wasn't your life and kind of come to terms with the fact that that wasn't real, or maybe it was real? I believe that these things are real. That's my personal experience. I know that the brain can do some pretty crazy things, but regardless if it was real or not, it was real to you, right? And so did you have to mourn the loss of your husband, I guess is what I'm asking. It's wild to me how many stories there are like this. I cannot imagine going through that. And my last question would be, because you didn't say this in your email, when you were like thrown into this world, did you remember prior to your college, like did you remember growing up as this other person? Or did you not have memory of that? And when you were thrown into this other world, did you know that you had been thrown into like a different dimension, or did your memory kind of coincide with what was going on in that world? Is my question. Definitely drop all your thoughts, opinions, and suggestions in the comment section, and let us know what you guys think, because the story is crazy. Feel free to keep sending me stories like this, you guys. I find them super, super interesting. You are not alone in this. I get so many stories like this. It's wild. So, but now I'm going to do my favorite part, which is the shout outs. Rachel Allen 8138. You are so sweet. You left such a nice comment. You said that I was second to none, and that is the nicest thing thing you could have said to me. I work so hard on these videos, and so when people say things like that, it literally makes me so giddy. I'll never stop getting so giddy over comments like that. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are so wonderful. Thank you for being a supporter. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for commenting and pushing my videos out. Thank you so much for your kindness. I appreciate it more than you will ever know, and I'm so lucky to have you. I hope you know that. I really do hope you know that, and I love you. Megaston8546, you are so sweet, and you also left such a sweet comment. It was so supportive and loving. Thank you so much. Like, I'm so lucky to have you. I'm so lucky to have you as a supporter. I'm so lucky that you comment. I'm so lucky to have somebody who is excited about me doing well on here. That means so much to me, and I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you for commenting and pushing my videos out. Thank you for even watching my videos. Without you guys and without you, I would not have this account, and I have the most loving, kind community on here. I am so lucky, and the one thing I am most proud of out of anything, not my views, not my followers or my subscribers, but my community is what I'm most proud of. That is my pride and joy, is the community that I built, because you guys, I swear, I have the most awesome subscribers ever. The coolest people subscribe to my channel, and I will die on that hill. So thank you so much for being one of them, because you are, and I love you. And with that being said, I did say that I had to say something about the story that I told before. It was the one where the girl fell asleep for 12 hours and lived a life of 7 years. Unfortunately, I do have to tell you guys that I did find out that that story was untrue. I'm not going to say the name of the person. I am very afraid of them getting cyberbullied, so we're not going to go into that, but I do just want to say that she did end up making a video herself to cover the story herself, and she was caught in a lie, and then I put her story, which I should have done from the beginning, into ChatGTP, and it was like 90% AI generated. So that's really unfortunate, but I will always be honest with you guys. I will never, that video got 4.5 million views on TT, and I privated it. I took it off my account because it is so important to me that you guys know that the stories that I am telling are truth, because so many people are so scared to send in their stories. It's scary to give your paranormal experiences, and I want you guys to feel comfortable and know that I am being honest and that other people are being honest, so that you guys don't feel like your experiences don't mean anything, if you get what I'm trying to say. So just know I will always be transparent with you, and I'm so sorry. I did take it off this account as well. That's why it disappeared off of this account. So I apologize on behalf of myself and her. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, because I will be running my stories through ChatGTP from now on. That was my mistake, and I apologize. So I love you guys so much, and with that being said, I just need you to do 3 things for me. And what are those? I need you to keep sending me your scary stories, have a safe night, and what's the third one? Say it with me. Have a spooky night. Love you guys so much. See you in the next one. Spooky kisses and haunted hugs.